All right. Hello, Internet. It's been a while. I wanted to talk about The Chosen Season 5, and I'm going to do a complete spoiler review. I looked on YouTube, I couldn't find any spoiler reviews. And I had a lot of thoughts in my head that I want to get out while they're still fresh. I just got back from the theater. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. So, number one, what do I think about the whole thing? I thought it was great. Um, Obviously, it's a dramatization of the Bible. They say that right in the beginning of every episode or every season, I think. And they try to make it as accurate as possible. But you already know that, and you're only here for the spoilers. So, uh, I guess just like spoiler specific stuff would be it starts the whole season. Starts with Jesus entering in to Jerusalem. It ends with Judas kissing Jesus on the cheek to show, the enemy who the right person is to capture, even though everybody kind of already knows. Nicodemus is in it. I think he comes in at the beginning or at the end of episode 5 or something. I think there's 7 episodes total or 8. I don't know exactly how many, but I'm just gonna try to go through these spoilers. Um, there's, I guess that's like, oh yeah, there's like this guy called the Watcher. It's Matthew. It's Matthew. They call him Matthias. Nicodemus calls him Matthias. Nicodemus like assigns him to like keep an eye on things. So he's like always writing stuff down. And they say Matthias, so I can only assume that's Matthew. And then Luke is also revealed. He's the guy who gives them a place to do the Passover meal. Um, I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, everything else is kind of like just going through the story of the Bible. I keep looking over here because my screen's over here and I didn't want my glasses to like be reflecting me the whole time like this. So I'm putting you over there and then, anyways. Um, so I guess I'll get into like, what did I like? I always like the way that there's a focus on the humanity and like the sort of really down to earth interactions between the disciples and Jesus, and really that's like kind of the core of the whole show is we as people can relate to them um, pretty well, even though it's set in a different time. It's very the interactions between the disciples and Jesus feel so normal. Like when you watch a movie and there's just like really bad acting, and then you're like, that person would never actually say that in this situation. It's not like that with The Chosen. People actually act like normal human beings, which is one thing that I always appreciate. Um, I will say this, spoiler wise, I really wanted to see Peter cut off the ear of the soldier when they go to Gethsemane. Um, but that doesn't happen. It ends with Judas kissing Jesus and giving him away. They did a great job. Every single disciple gets sort of the spotlight for a little while in this season. There's like flashbacks for almost every single one of them. Uh, they really give Thaddeus. I think they gave Thaddeus and Little James uh, some good moments to shine here, because a lot of the other seasons focus a lot more on like I guess you could say your main characters. Like Peter obviously gets a lot of time on camera. Um, for good reason. He's a great character. Actually, one of the things I really loved about this season is Peter trying to preach. It's so funny when he's like trying to give sermons and he's like messing up. Like I really love those moments. Something I didn't like was the music choice when Jesus is entering into the city in the first episode. I didn't get it. It was just like weird music choice for the moment that was happening. Oh, the other thing, Jesus has a lot of like visions and anxiety that are all not biblically documented. Obviously, they're trying to show Jesus's humanity, showing him having like panic attacks and anxiety attacks and stuff. And I can appreciate that, but they never take it so far as to discredit his divinity. And at least in my opinion, he always establishes his divinity with his disciples and with his sermons and things like that. He knows that he is the Son of God. He knows that him and God are one. He talks about the Holy Spirit. He shows his divinity in many ways. But they're just trying to focus a lot on his humanity and like what he goes through as a human. And I think I appreciate that. But I do think that the visions were a little weird. Like him seeing blood on the walls and having like these in the last episode, like it's almost like they're trying to show him going through so much stress that he's almost hallucinating from the stress or anxiety. He's seeing visions, and it's almost as if they're trying to show that God is trying to comfort him through these visions. Especially in the garden, there's like 2 or 3 different moments where Jesus is comforted by Joseph, his father, like physically. He appears there and like puts his hand on him and like, comforts him while he's crying. And then Jesus sees Isaac about to be sacrificed by his father. There's like a lot of like weird intertwined like visions that Jesus is having throughout season 5. So I thought that was kind of weird, but I guess they're trying to really like emphasize the amount of stress and anxiety that he's going through, which is, just trying to make him feel more human, I guess. He never loses his divinity in the show. I heard some people complain about it was on Reddit. I was reading some Reddit posts. People were complaining that Jesus didn't say, "Get behind me, Satan," to Peter. And I don't know. I don't really have a problem with that. Obviously, they can't include every single little detail from the Bible. They're trying to do a show and like pack in as much as they can. But they did fall asleep. Jesus scolded them gently a few times. There was also a moment where Jesus sees them sleeping after he told them to stay awake and alert, and he's seeing them as children, like laying there, almost as if to speak to his compassion by seeing them as children, as they haven't fully grown up yet spiritually, I guess. Like it's almost like he's seeing them in a physical child form as if to depict their spiritual youth. They're still growing. What else? Oh, Caiaphas, the actor. Oh, so the acting, right? I love Caiaphas, his actor. He does such a good job of playing his role. Actually, this show is just full of great actors, but I particularly enjoyed watching Caiaphas every time he was on screen. And what's that other dude's name? The guy who keeps going to talk to Pilate. Let me look it up real quick. The Chosen cast. Season 5. That might be helpful to have up on the screen. What is that soldier's name? Also a great actor. Oh, Judas was a great actor as well. I guess it would help if you could like see my screen, what I'm looking at right now. I didn't see Gaius except for like in a flashback. I would have liked to see him more. I didn't see Quintus. King Herod. Not a fan of Pontius Pilate's actor, but he's growing on me, I guess, because they're just trying to show that he's like kind of a wimpy, not very mature leader. Where is this guy that I'm thinking of? Let's just go here to IMDb. Ugh, I gotta look through all these names. Be helpful if I could see their faces a bit better. I wonder if I'd recognize him like just by his picture. He's got a pretty distinct. Is this the guy? No, that's not the guy. Wow, I feel stupid now because I never paid attention to his name, but he's a great He's a great actor in the show. I really like Little James's actor too. Actually, he's a. Where is this dude? Ah, this guy, Atticus. That's who I was looking for. Love Atticus. He's got this really commanding presence. And every time I feel like laughing every time I see him because he's just so like blunt about everything and serious. And you can tell he has a sense of purpose in everything that he does. But anyways, I guess sorry for that really long like part of me like looking for the dude. Anyways, I guess that kind of covers most of the stuff that I can think of off the top of my head. And if I can think of anything else, I'll make another video. I just don't like writing down my thoughts. I just like kind of spitballing it. So hope y'all enjoyed. I thought it was good. Let me know what you think in the comments. See ya.